there we go.
There we are.
Oh, there we go.
Right.
See, we made it work. See, we made it work.
We did. And we'll get the meat going. That's going to take a few clicks.
Oh, what the heck's going on here?
Oh, everything cool?
Yep.
Okay. All right, we'll start the recording in 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon on December 28th, 2025, our last regular show of 2025. Can you believe it?
No, not at all. Actually, it's crazy. Actually, because it's like honestly, it just feels like we're just getting things started. Even
It does, and it kind of feels like we've been doing this since the beginning of the year, even though we've only been doing it since, I think, late April.
yeah. But I mean, I think that just kind of shows the kind of fun that we have, and the kind of the kind of just the kind of conversations and the kind of pieces that come into this, right? That's kind of where it kind of goes, where we have a lot of fun with it, and not only where it kind of goes, but it's just what really is the beauty here are the conversations.
Oh, hands down. That's the whole reason we completely started doing any of this, was to have great conversations, whether that's about books or tech or just anything.
Yes, and really to put it, I mean, to put it in different sort of perspectives.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
It feels like things kind of move where we, and see, that's kind of one of the beauties as well, is that we get to do it on our terms. And how often can you say that?
No, you're right. That's a rare thing.
And it has literally nothing. It literally has nothing to do with what goes on, or any of that. Or what someone else gets to do, but what it has to do with is if one is able to take advantage of it and do it in a way that it can be done.
Take advantage of what exactly do you mean?
No, take advantage of doing it in your own style.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. We've certainly done a lot of that. We've built up the brand. We've just from building the sites and everything in the very early stages to now where we're at, where we have, what is it? 4 different sites?
Yeah, I think it's 4 different sites.
Not counting the Techstravaganza network, of course.
No. Well, No, I mean we can count that, but not. But we don't own that one.
No, we don't. It's certainly been an incredible year, hasn't it?
Yes, and I have nothing but good things to say about it all.
Likewise, absolutely. It's been a wonderful experience.
And honestly, we're not quitting, and it's not stopping.
No, we're just getting started.
Ah, yes. I have to tell you
Okay.
that my all-time, I think, when it comes to my favorite books of the year, my favorite book of the year.
Yes, I was going to invite you to start with those.
How did I know that? How did I know? I don't know how I knew.
Idea. No idea.
Well, I don't know how I knew, but maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't know. I don't know, or maybe I did. But anyway, regardless, I personally, my all-time favorite would have to be Burke's Law, I think.
Really?
And maybe even I'll go as far as to even stretch it to number 2, not number 2, but as a number 2 book.
Mm-hmm.
I will even stretch number 2 to Kadri's book.
Ah, yes. Dreamer.
Yes. Now, I'll shed some insight into this.
Please.
Because, you know, it goes to the NHL fandom in me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always known it. I've always known things for the pure enjoyment of the game. I never get into the whole politics of everything where and they told some very interesting some very crazy stories of what goes on in the dressing room and how the opposing teams even how the opposing teams even how the opposing teams even how they feel in the moment of the competition in the dressing room and all that good stuff as well. Something I didn't realize that it gets as intense as it does in the dressing room.
No kidding, right? They really shed some light on all of that.
Am I surprised though? No, because it is about the moment of winning. It is about doing whatever you can to win.
Oh, 100%. And I can't even imagine how far it goes when the adrenaline is high and that mentality of competition really comes forward. And I'm sure it gets to be over the top sometimes, over the line.
Yeah, and I mean, yes, that's the difference too, because yeah, there we go. There's the alarm. Right, but there's the there are two ways of kind of seeing it. One is that what they have to be aware of and what they're kind of what they have to be aware of and careful of. That yes, you can talk like that in the dressing room. But when you go out in public, you can't talk like that. Otherwise, you're going to be facing legal actions and all that stuff.
Or at the least, the scrutiny of the media and the public. But legal action is definitely a possibility as well, of course.
And I'm not a so-called, yeah, and I'm not really a fan of. I mean, I'm not even like. See, I never was a realization. I never realized that how like that it gets into violent territories if you look at the stories that Burke shared. And even this may not be a segue, but even some of the stories that Mike Keenan shares.
Yeah, I'm sure from a coaching perspective or a management perspective, they see it differently than any of the players, and sort of that from the top, right?
Yeah, and like it gets very much into heated territory. Like it's just like when like in that I never honestly like see I never like I just can't imagine that.
No?
I can't imagine. I just can't imagine the intensity there. It's not an environment in the heat of the moment that I'd be wanting to be a part of.
No, probably not, hey?
But no, but I'm in it. I'm in it for the pure entertainment of the game.
Yeah.
And also I'm in it for the enjoyment of the broadcasters. Now there was that they were actually talking about at one point banning fighting in hockey. Now some believe, oh, it's entertainment. No, I don't know. I don't know, but I don't really think you can, because there's always going to be somebody who's going to break the rules.
Yeah, that's true. Or even if it's not an all-out fight, there's always going to be, say, a scrap for the puck, or just even an accident of you're in somebody else's space, you're trying to move quickly, I'd imagine.
Yeah, knocking them down and that kind of thing. But yeah, no. How about we just get into Mike Keenan's book?
Yeah, we can do that.
What'd you think?
Full disclosure, I haven't gotten too far. I was trying to get through others to get up the book count this week and get through Canada and all that, but
I'm going to get to the end of that one too.
Yeah, it's interesting so far.
Yeah, the Keenan book. I'm not very far into it either, as we saw.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. Hey, it's a busy time of the year. Different things come up. You're trying to get through other things too.
Different books?
It happens. Yeah, different books, different, like, even just getting things set up for the shows and stuff. You find time for things, and sometimes you just don't feel like reading.
I get it, yeah. But you know what? I've always sort of made it, but you know what, though? But there's a workaround. There's now a workaround that we've planted now. Do we know what that workaround is?
I think so. I think you've set up kind of a designated time each day, right?
Oh, we knew that. We knew.
We did.
We knew. And yes. That is correct.
No, and I think that's fantastic. But for me, I don't find... I have been reading most days, but then some days you're just like, you know what? Not today. Or you just kind of go, okay, my head's not there to have the attention for this, so I don't want to just have it where I'm listening. Like I really want to be able to take it in.
Okay. Yeah, no, and you know what? Here, like, see, and that is, and that's also like, see, I'm kind of the opposite.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
Oh, we knew we would ask us to elaborate, which we will. Um, a lot of the times, what I'll end up doing
Hmm.
is I'll just have it playing in the background,
Hmm.
and either I'll do it at night, set the timer,
Right.
or do something else. You know, have it on and update the website or something.
Right.
So I realize, okay, I'll give you this.
Okay.
I'll give you this.
All right.
I realize at this very same time that then there's some disengagement that would be happening. But it's a way to get through as well.
Yeah, I get through more books, I suppose.
Yes. Now, because see, I always made it a promise to myself
Hmm.
that I always wanted to ensure I got reading in every day. Because I would start, because see, here's the history, okay? Here's the history.
Hmm. Yeah. And then we can kind of circle back around to Keenan, but
Well, yes, we will, but here's the history.
yeah, share the history.
The history has always been we'd start something, and then we'd never finish it, and then we'd pick it up maybe a few months later, and we didn't know where we were.
Mm. Yeah, there's that.
So we wanted to make it stabilized here.
Yeah.
We wanted to bring some, not stabilized, but we wanted to bring it consistent.
Hmm.
Yeah, so kind of going back to Keenan, what do you think of some of the stories he shared?
I think he was interesting because even though I'm not very far, you can already see that his path to hockey and his path through everything is very different than Burke's or Kadri's. And I know obviously the difference there is that Kadri remained a player, didn't go into any of the coaching or the manager positions, but look, even Burke, I guess they all did start out playing, but you just get a sense of they come at it from very different places, although they're all very skilled at playing and they're very skilled in the sense of knowing the game. But it seems like Keenan really leaned into his studies more than even Burke did. And of course, Burke talked about his time in university as well or college, but Keenan just seemed to really lean in that sense. And maybe because he had so many coaches and even his own parents at times who were sort of encouraging, like, this is the path you should follow, that he became very hard driving as a coach. That because he had people encouraging and influencing him in that way, that he then adopted that sort of philosophy.
There's always, yeah, there's that side of it too. And he actually was in teaching for a while too.
Yeah, and I could see that as sort of a pathway to, okay, now you're going back into hockey, but coaching is certainly not like teaching, but it's kind of the only close equivalent, right?
Correct. Yeah. Like, and even also when he was getting that, he wanted to and even when he became a coach, right? He gave up his. He said he's going to give up his teaching job. So he wanted some stability with where he was going, somewhere in the NHL, I think it was. I just actually passed it. So, so there's that sort of demanding. There's that demand as well, right? Where I don't want to call it a demand, but see, at the end of the day, in the NHL or in any sport, coaches are hired to be fired.
Right.
And I mean, even pull it back to the Maple Leafs from this past week, which it's not on. This is not really the show for it, but they dismissed their assistant coach,
Mm-hmm.
and Mark Savard, who because the team hadn't been doing well, and they haven't been doing well this season, so that is what happens. And then at the end of the year, it's going to be all about, and depending on how well they do, then people don't come back. Coaches don't. Maybe even the general manager doesn't come back either.
Yeah. No, so I would imagine there's a lot riding on their ability to get that team to perform and get them to win and to achieve the results that the fans are going to want, that their home city is going to want.
Yeah, and it's easier just to be a fan and cover the teams.
Mm-hmm.
Well, unless I'm part of the mainstream media who covers it. But yeah, I mean that's it. So Mike Keenan, certainly I think he has his sort of he had, there were moments there where he did work. He was in the minors. Like, they all kind of start out in the minors, actually.
Yeah, which is to be expected. You have to start somewhere.
You do, yep, and just kind of grind it out to get to where they want.
Yeah, not unlike anything else.
No, but it's different in the hockey world and in the sports world.
Mm-hmm.
It's different.
Yeah, because, as you say, those positions are not necessarily always stable, so you have to kind of keep to the grind to get up into a higher position, and then can you stay there?
And also, too, they could be on the sidelines if there are no openings to be no coaching job available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would certainly be challenging.
It would. Now, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when we circle to the Leafs, Craig Berube, who's their current coach, now that they kind of got rid of their assistant coach, who was actually he was sort of his guy. So now, what could also he could be if the team doesn't play well over these next few games, he could be gone too. And who's left? Yeah. Pete DeBoer, maybe? He's really the only one left who could end up taking over that job. I don't know. He's really the only one left.
You think so?
Many. Pardon me?
You think so?
Well, there's really nobody left. There's not, especially right now, there's nobody left. Like, open. There's nobody, there are no avail. So he would be really the guy.
Yeah,
that
and
would be
hope.
available.
Mhm. And they've had a really rough season, so hopefully they turn it around. But that seems like a pretty tall order at this point.
And Pete DeBoer is also a former Kitchener Ranger coach too. But he helped them to win the Memorial Cup. He led them to that in 2003. So, that. But in the NHL, but that of course is a different track record. The NHL, he hasn't really done. He hasn't really. I mean, he's always gotten to the finals,
Hmm.
but he hasn't. But he hasn't. But he's never actually won a Stanley Cup.
Oh, okay.
In his time.
Hmm.
And Mike Keenan kind of made that sort of, when he told his story, he told his side of what he went through
Yeah.
and how he always wanted the team to win, and he always demanded that the respect, and because I could imagine him getting into I could imagine him getting into physical fights with his players.
Hmm. Is that something that ever happened? Do you know of?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised either way if it did or didn't.
Right.
Because
I
it's the
suppose we'll find
intensity.
out as we. Yeah, it is the intensity, right? I can't even think what it would be like to have to be in that environment constantly, like what that does to you. It would be exhausting.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't be able to do it.
No.
But
Like
I
how do
love.
you just
Go ahead.
Oh, go on,
No, no, go
please. I
ahead. Go ahead. No, no,
keep
no. Go
cutting you
ahead. Go
off. I
ahead.
feel
Please go
really
ahead.
badly about that.
No, no. Pardon
But
me.
how do you just go home and then have, just your life? And how do you sort of come down from all that?
Well, you can't because your
Hmm.
focus. Pardon?
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Because you're see because they're the high see and if they let them go under contract, they still have to pay them. So I don't know what was so it'd be okay for a year or two or whatever paying out the contract by the
Hmm.
team. But what else? What does it mean? It doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, you'd only be getting paid because they still have to pay you, but other than that, you're out of a job.
Yep. And those guys are like millionaires.
Oh, I bet.
But of course, as we've seen, right, in some of the other stuff that we've read, you know, even going back to Melanie Chisholm's book,
Hmm.
even Alanis Morissette, even that just because one has that kind of money, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean that their that their lives are well off.
No, exactly. Because there's all the other pressures that are having their effects mentally, emotionally, physically. It's all tied together.
Yep. Yeah, it is. And and one cannot always go by what they see on the surface.
No, we've talked about that many times.
We have. But it always seems to kind of come back, even looking at Keenan's book here too. And we will find out how it goes.
We will. I was going to say, as we get deeper, we'll obviously see different things and find out more, and we'll answer the question of whether there were any physical altercations between him and players when he was coaching.
Let's do that. Let's
Yes.
keep the listeners intrigued here.
Yes. We will. We haven't done that in a while. We haven't continued on with a book to the next week. We haven't had to, of course.
No, but so yeah. So where are we at now? Reading challenges?
Yes, and then we can talk about reading challenges, and then perhaps I could share my favorites of the year.
Let's talk about that first. Let's start with that.
Oh, with the favorites?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was looking through the list of books that I've read so far, and, of course, you look at the ratings, you look at when you read things, because I thought, what did I really think of these? But I'd have to say that one of my favorites was easily Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, which is, as I mentioned, what feels like eons ago now, back when we were starting this show. It's the newest prequel in the Hunger Games series, and sure, we didn't necessarily read it for the show, but I was reading it at the time, and those books, as in a way, as sports is to you, as that is sort of the fandom that you really enjoy and where you kind of find your entertainment, the Hunger Games was that for me many years ago.
It's your escape.
It is. It's not always the best escape. Reading is kind of the overall escape, because the Hunger Games, given some of the subject matter, is uncomfortably close to where we find ourselves now at times. But it was such a surprise.
Sorry, in what find ourselves now in, like,
in the sense of when it talks about kind of the idea of implicit submission and kind of being within a system and a society where all these things are happening, and certainly it's a more extreme and fictionalized version of those things, and it gets to a different point. But the kind of ironic thing is that in the Hunger Games, Panem, which is the fictional country, is actually said to be located where North America, in that book it says used to be, as in North America was part of their past history. But it just sort of gives an indication of what happens when governments sort of exert a certain amount of power over citizens, and how that kind of looks, and the way that class systems are structured and all. And I was very pleasantly surprised by this newest edition, because this one and the last newest one were sort of like, do we need these? Are these necessary additions? Do they enhance anything that the original trilogy did? And especially in the case of this one, I would say yes. I really enjoyed this book, as much as it's meant for slightly younger readers than myself, but I don't mind. I don't mind. I think read whatever brings you joy and whatever you can find something in. And to contrast it, when we did read the original Hunger Games book for the show, I found that that one didn't hold up the way that my recollections would have implied it did, which was fascinating. And I will say, in that vein, that I think my favorite thing that we read for the show, now this might seem like cheating because it was technically the first thing we read, but would have been The Radical Lives of Helen Keller by Kim E. Nielsen. Just because it kind of started this whole thing. It's the first thing we really cracked into. And it was fascinating. And we've since had a lot of conversations on this show, on the books panel, about disability, especially blindness, of course, and because it is part of each of our lived experiences and some of the people we've been fortunate enough to speak to. But it was fascinating to see a side of Helen Keller that was never widely depicted, was not this wonderful image of her as sort of this poster person for what do maybe a lot of people think of when they think of disability if they don't have maybe a lot of background knowledge.
Yep. Yeah, you're right about that. I totally agree.
So yeah, those two were very, very important, I think, in this year. So on to reading challenges. What was your goal this year?
I think I said it. I can't remember if it was 25 or 30,
Okay,
but I surpassed it.
that's wonderful. Do you know off the top how many that you did read?
I know it's about. I think it's about. I think I've read over 30 actually.
Oh, wow. And where are you setting your sights for next year?
35.
Okay, I'm sure you'll get there, especially with having that practice of reading every day.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, we're gonna make it a chat. We're gonna make it a goal to. We're gonna make it our challenge to get there.
Yeah, it's always exciting to set a challenge like that and to kind of have that end goal of this is where I want to get to. Can I do it?
Yes. Yep.
And for all you listeners out there in listener land, keep up with us on Goodreads, see if we can do it.
Yes. We have a. We. I believe we have a group, don't we?
We do. It needs a little bit of work, but that'll be this week's job. I am happy to engage with that. And
Let's
of
do it.
course,
Let's do it.
of course, we have our own personal profiles
Let's
as
do
well.
it. Let's do it. Let's do
Let's
it.
do it. Yes,
Let's do it. Let's do it. How about it? Let's do it.
we will. We will. There's always something to be worked on or improved or kind of set up. So happy to do the work. I believe I had set mine this year to 25, and I'm agonizingly close. I will do it in the next few days. I am at 22, I think.
Yes, and we have 3 days to do it.
We do. We do. I will update. I will update us here next week and we will see if I ended up accomplishing the goal.
I'll be watching.
Yes. Of course, we always do, and vice versa. I always keep up with your updates.
Yes, yes. This is exciting stuff. Yes.
So on the subject of next week, how do we want to do this? Do we want to pick a book or do we want to do because I was looking through old shows to see which ones we'd read what on because we often put the titles, but there were a lot where we just said books we've been reading for such and such a day. We haven't done something like that in a while. Do we want to
Let's do it. Let's do it.
just read whatever we each want this week and we can
Let's
discuss
do it.
and of course keep on with Iron Mike.
Absolutely. We most definitely will.
That is exciting. That'll be into the new year already. So in light of that, shall we get to the schedule?
How about it?
What's coming up on the Ali Musa show?
Well, on Tuesday, December 30th, 2025, at 4:30 p.m., we sort of teased it, but the Maple Leafs have fired Mark Savard as their assistant coach. Could Craig Berube be next? What what about the contributions of has this team certainly kind of has it is there a missing piece that they traded Marner? Well, we will be joined by Claude Fay, who was a long time sports guy. He actually was the sports guy for TSN for many years, and he'll be here at 4:30 Eastern on Tuesday. And don't forget to check that out live, because we will be live. And then we move to January the 19th. We've got Becky Coles and Jim Taddy on February 2nd. Now, there will most likely be stuff in between. So, we always say the best way to keep up is by
subscribing to the newsletter.
And what's coming up on this show? We've got some content coming up.
We do, in the very near future, in fact. Tomorrow, we've got for you all another bonus show. We will be joined tomorrow, December 29th, 2025, at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, by Steve Barkley from Canadian Assistive Technologies to talk all things tech, braille displays, which of course falls under tech, maybe some books. We will see where the conversation takes us. It's going to be exciting. And of course, we will be back here on Sunday, January 4th, 2026, for our usual show, where we will update you on our thoughts on Iron Mike and whatever else we've been reading this week.
And we also will have a books panel at the end of the month as well.
We will, I believe, on January 30th, 2026.
I think so.
We will be discussing Anatomy of a Con Artist.
Aha! That will be fun!
It will. The books panels are always a lot of fun.
Yes, it's a panel of 4, and some great content coming up.
Yes, absolutely. Keep up with all the newsletters. Subscribe to the network site newsletter. And from us to you here at the Musa Slobodian Network, Happy New Year. All the best.